Hey guys, welcome to tonight's story, The Veiled Prophet. In this peaceful, magical journey, you'll follow Nyrah, a young woman drawn beyond the edges of her quiet village into an ancient forest filled with wonder, mystery, and a timeless quest for truth. Let this tale carry you into a world of stars, secrets, and soft whispers in the trees. Wishing you a restful night and beautiful dreams. If you enjoy the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Your support means the world and helps more dreamers find their way here. Now get comfortable and let the story begin. The air was thick with the scent of heather, and the gentle rustle of leaves sang lullabies that only the wind could compose. On the edge of a world that seemed unbound by the constraints of time, nestled the village where Nyrah called home. It was a place where dreams hovered just above the ground, carried on the whispered breezes of starlit nights. Nyrah would often wander beyond the village, across the rolling hills that seemed to stretch out toward infinity. Here, these hills were not merely fields, but a tapestry woven with the stories of countless dawns and twilights. Her flock grazed contentedly while she lay among the wildflowers, eyes tracing patterns in the sky as if trying to decipher some celestial cipher that had yet to reveal itself. The village was small, its people tethered tightly to the rhythms of the land. Yet in Nyrah's heart, there was a yearning, an unquenchable thirst for something grander, an understanding of a vastness that called to her from beyond the horizon. The elders spoke of the veiled prophet, a figure as elusive as the breeze itself, a mysterious seeker of truths hidden to ordinary eyes. They said the prophet wandered those very woods Nyrah often gazed upon, and it was rumored he could unravel the mysteries of the cosmos and the human heart alike. Tales were whispered by firelight, filled with awe and reverence for this enigmatic figure draped in veils, always moving through the shadowed corners of their world. One twilight, as the sky deepened from gold to indigo, Nyrah felt the pull of the unknown stronger than ever before. She knew, as surely as the earth circled the sun, that she must seek the veiled prophet. Perhaps in his presence she could find the answers she had not yet dared to form into words. With the moon rising softly to guide her, Nyrah set her path toward the forest's edge. Each step felt significant, as if the land itself held its breath in anticipation of her journey. Around her, the night came alive with gentle murmurs, the gentle hoot of an owl, the rustle of a creature unseen, the song of the wind threading through the branches. The forest had a way of wrapping around her, both shielding and revealing. The trees stood as ancient sentinels, their gnarled trunks and twisting boughs casting intricate shadows that danced in the moonlight's silver glow. Paths seemed to form and dissolve like trails in a dream, leading her deeper into a world whispered to be untouched by time. As she ventured further, every sound, every shadow, became a guide rather than a barrier. Her heart beat to the primordial rhythm of the forest, a gentle companion on this path less traveled. She moved with care, carried by an intuition that guided her through the darkness with a confidence she had never known. It was then, as the night began to weave its tapestry around her, that she felt an unfamiliar presence, a sense of being watched not just by eyes, but by a vast awareness that embraced the very soul of the forest. An anticipation, silent yet profound, sang softly in her veins. Nyrah paused, her breath mingling with the cool mist that curled around her ankles. She sensed she was near something monumental, and yet the world held its secrets close, waiting for the right moment to reveal its wonders. Her journey just begun promised more than she could ever dream. With her eyes closed, she listened to the forest, to the secrets it whispered, to the rustling leaves that seemed to echo with the promise of profound discoveries yet to unfold. And in that quietude she understood that her path, intertwined with the veiled tapestry of fate, had only just begun to unfurl. As the first light of dawn began its gentle caress upon the horizon, Nyrah took a breath as soft as morning dew, stepping forward into a new chapter, her heart open to the mysteries poised to reveal themselves in the serene embrace of the world she was destined to explore. Nyrah wandered deeper into the embrace of the ancient forest, where each tree seemed to carry stories etched into its bark, and roots wove intricate patterns beneath the earth. The air filled her lungs with the rich scent of moss and distant rain, and she felt as if she were stepping into a living memory, one that pulsed with the heartbeat of the world itself. The light of dawn crept gently through the foliage, casting soft shadows that moved like silent ghosts across her path. As she walked, the forest seemed to acknowledge her presence, branches bowing slightly as she passed, leaves whispering secrets heard only by the wind. Each step she took felt like a conversation with the land, as if they were becoming allies in the unfolding journey. In this sylvan sanctuary, time seemed to stretch and bend, moments lingering longer than they should, echoing with the resonance of echoes left by footsteps taken long ago. The song of a distant brook, threading its way through stone and root, lulled her thoughts into a gentle rhythm. Her mind drifted, pondering the mysteries that lay ahead and those still tucked away in the folds of possibility. Nyrah paused beside a fallen log, worn smooth by the passage of countless seasons. She traced her fingers along its contours, feeling the life it once held, a life now mingled with the earth that cradled it. Her thoughts turned to the stories of the veiled prophet, how his very presence seemed to coax the secrets of the universe into the light. What could he see through the veils that concealed his face, that eluded her own searching eyes? As if to offer comfort, a gentle breeze stirred the air around her, rustling the leaves in a sound that resembled a soft, understanding sigh. It was then that Nyrah noticed a path, barely visible and overgrown, leading deeper into the forest's heart, an invitation extended by the wild to those daring enough to tread its enigmatic course. The path beckoned her with its promise of discovery, and she felt a quiet exhilaration rising within her. She knew that each step forward would weave her more tightly into the mystery she sought to unravel. With renewed purpose, she embraced the path, her feet almost gliding over the soft earth as if guided by unseen hands. Along the way, the forest began to change. The trees, ancient and wise, grew taller, their canopy more dense, filtering the sunlight into a delicate mosaic of light and shadow. Sounds became more muted, as if the forest held its secrets close, sharing only what was necessary with its new traveler. Birds called softly to one another, their voices rippling through the stillness like mirrors catching the first whispers of dawn. Nyrah felt herself becoming a part of this world, a thread entwined with the broader tapestry of nature. She moved with ease, her senses attuned to the ebb and flow of forest life. And in that moment she understood that the journey was not solely about reaching the veiled prophet, but about discovering herself within this vast network of life and meaning. Time slipped by unnoticed, as the day matured and the sun cast languid beams of golden light across her path. She paused again, this time near a grove of silver birches that stood as a shimmering oasis amid the darker woods. Their leaves, like tiny mirrors, reflected the sunlight in a dance that seemed to hold the secrets of ancient songs. In their presence, Nyrah felt a deep peace settle over her, as if she were partaking in a ritual as old as the trees themselves. This place felt sacred, a haven where thoughts flowed as smoothly as the brook she could now hear more clearly in the distance. She lingered, absorbing the quiet wisdom, allowing her heart to align with the gentle pulse of the grove. It seemed to welcome her as an old friend, one who recognized the seeking light in her eyes. With each breath, she felt more certain that her journey was forging a connection, not just with the world around her, but with the universe itself. She stood poised between what had been and what was yet to come, balanced on the cusp of understanding. And as the sun dipped lower, whispering promises of twilight, Nyrah resumed her path, carrying the grove's serenity with her. Ahead lay mysteries yet to be unveiled, and questions waiting to dance on the edge of revelation as she continued forward along the winding trails made gentle by time and whispers of the veiled prophet. The sun descended behind the towering silhouettes of the forest, its last rays igniting the sky with a blaze of warm hues before yielding to the cool embrace of twilight. The path beneath Nyrah's feet turned soft and muted as if to quiet her steps, allowing the night to rise around her like a gentle tide. Through the hush of approaching darkness, Nyrah sensed the nocturnal world awakening. The forest, under the cloak of night, transformed into a world of whispers and shadows. The cricket's song rose like a distant chorus, harmonizing with the soft rustle of leaves that told tales of the breeze's journey. As the path wound deeper into the heart of the forest, the trees began to glow faintly, lit from within by a mysterious luminescence coursing through the very sap that gave them life. It was as though the woodland spirits had kindled their own stars, small and twinkling amid the boughs, casting gentle light on Nyrah's path. She felt a sense of kinship, the boundaries between her and this enchanted world dissolving in this delicate interplay of light and shadow. Nyrah's thoughts drifted to those quiet evenings spent with her father before the fire. He spoke of journeys such as hers, not ones defined by distance, but by discovery. "Seek not only with your eyes, my starbright," he would say, "but listen to the language of leaves and streams, where the truth lies waiting." His words echoed in her mind, a warm presence guiding her steps. Nyrah followed them deeper, past clusters of blossoms that emitted spectral hues, as if painted by the dreams of the forest itself. She thought of the veiled prophet, and with every step, her resolve to meet this enigmatic figure strengthened. Soon her path brought her alongside a babbling brook, its waters catching the moonlight, weaving tiny diamonds upon the surface. The brook seemed alive, brimming with secrets whispered during countless ages past. Sitting beside it for a moment of respite, Nyrah cupped her hands into the cold, clear water. As she drank, visions danced before her, a tapestry of past and future, woven with the golden threads of what might be. It was in these quiet moments that Nyrah realized her journey was not just towards the veiled prophet, but also into herself. The forest acted as a mirror, reflecting facets of her own spirit she had yet to explore. She felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the land, for its silent guidance and gentle instruction. Rising, Nyrah resumed her journey, the path now illuminated by the moon's silvery glow. Around her, the night's creatures continued their symphony of existence, An owl's soft hoot resonated from above, while distant animals quietly went about their secret lives. Everything felt imbued with purpose, a harmonious dance of life's many melodies. As midnight approached, the air grew cool and carried a faint scent of something both old and magical. It was a scent unfamiliar, yet comforting, hinting at the threshold she was about to cross. Nyrah knew she was nearing the heart of the forest, where the veiled prophet was said to linger, unraveling the mysteries of the world. The path narrowed, leading her through an ancient archway of intertwined branches. Beneath her feet, the land softened, reminiscent of the dreams she once wove on starlit nights. With the forest now holding its breath, anticipation rippled through her, being like a gentle wave. At last she entered a clearing bathed in moonlight, where the air was still and the earth hummed with a deep, resonant peace. Here the world seemed to hang suspended between moments, a place set apart from the relentless march of time. It was as if she had stumbled into a haven where dreams were cradled, given life by the light of the stars above. Nyrah sensed that she stood at the threshold of revelation, where the forest's mysteries might be laid bare. Yet the veiled prophet remained as elusive as ever, a whisper lingering just out of reach. With patient resolve, she knew her journey was only beginning. As she settled into this enchanted place, she listened with her heart, grounding herself in anticipation and wonder. The night stretched onward, thrumming with the silent promise of answers to come, paths concealed yet waiting to be discovered. In the depths of this sacred forest, Nyrah's quest continued, each moment drawing her deeper into the cosmic dance that spiraled through eternity, and back again to the quiet whisper of her name, carried on the evening breeze. In the heart of the clearing, where moonlight bathed the earth in a soft, ethereal glow, Nyrah stood with her senses attuned to the delicate whispers of the night. Here the symphony of the forest played out with an almost sacred serenity. The leaves rustled in gentle conversation above, while the ground hummed with the deep, slow breath of the ancient land. Nyrah felt as though she were on the threshold of a dream, where the line between waking and dreaming blurred into a single fluid reality. The clearing exuded a timeless quality, as if it existed outside the familiar confines of the world she knew, and she felt drawn to the stillness, to the untold stories waiting to be discovered. Her heart, steady and full of quiet determination, beat in harmony with the rhythm of the forest that surrounded her. She moved slowly, carefully, savoring each moment and each step deeper into the mystery she had only begun to untangle. It was as if every fiber of her being was reaching out, yearning to brush against the edges of the unseen, to find a fragment of the truth promised by the whispers of the veiled prophet. As her fingers grazed the moss-covered stones, a gentle warmth blossomed from within her, an assurance that she was on the right path. The night was alive with a presence she couldn't fully comprehend, yet it was a presence that brought comfort and a sense of belonging, as if she had stepped into a sacred circle of existence. The air quivered with an unspoken promise, and as Nyrah breathed it in, she felt a delicate energy weaving through her, heightening her senses to the whispers of the universe. Her eyes followed the intricate dances of shadow and light, her ears tuned to the soft, harmonious sigh of the wind through the branches. She was becoming a part of this narrative, a thread in the vast tapestry of life that unfolded around her. Just beyond the woven arch of trees, where light and shadow played like old companions, Ilara caught sight of a faint, flickering glow, a light unlike the silvery beams of the moon. Her curiosity piqued. She approached cautiously, drawn to the gentle, beckoning luminescence. It reminded her of stories she had heard, told by those who had dared to wander beyond the known paths. Tales of wanderers who claimed to have seen glimpses of mysteries beyond the mortal ken. Her steps were silent on the soft forest floor, time slowing to a dreamlike cadence as the glow grew brighter, revealing a small, clear pool nestled between the roots of two ancient trees. The pool shimmered with its own mysterious light, casting ripples of luminescence across the surrounding bark and stones. Kneeling beside it, Ilara peered into the depths, her reflection mingling with the captured starlight and the soft glow emanating from the water. The surface trembled slightly under her gaze, as if responding to her presence with a language made only of whispers. In the water, she glimpsed more than just her own reflection. She saw visions flickering like the distant light of forgotten stars. And then, as if summoned by her yearning heart, the waters began to shift and swirl, revealing scenes of places she had never seen, yet felt an inexplicable connection to an endless desert beneath a canopy of cold night stars, an ancient city overgrown with verdant life, a lone traveler wrapped in moonlight, standing before a doorway of forgotten stone. Ilara watched, entranced, as the visions unfolded, each illuminating a corner of her mind, each offering a taste of the vast mysteries that lay beyond her understanding. They spoke to her of journeys untaken and destinies yet unlived, whispering secrets that prickled her skin with the thrill of the unknown. In that sacred silence, Ilara could almost hear the forest breathing along with her, its heart beating in time with her own. The visions began to fade, leaving her with a quiet knowing that she was threading together strands of a destiny shaped by dreams and reality, alike a destiny that wove her into the very essence of the land. The pool returned to stillness, reflecting the serene beauty of the night sky, and Ilara felt a peace settling within her, as if the forest itself had accepted her presence among its ancient trees and timeless whisperings. As she rose, the path before her beckoned once more, leading into the embrace of night where answers awaited hidden, but not unreachable. Her steps resumed their gentle cadence through the hushed woods, guided by the same unseen light that danced across the pool's surface. Within Ilara, a soft flame of understanding kindled, illuminating her journey as surely as the moonlight that graced her way. The world cradled her gently as she continued, the forest now both a companion and a guide, drawing her ever closer to the heart of its mysteries and the truths she sought. And though the veiled prophet remained unseen, Ilara felt the guiding presence of his wisdom with each step she took into the depths of the ancient forest. As Ilara continued her journey through the forest, the richness of night enfolded her in its gentle embrace. The moon, the silent guardian high above, shone brightly through the canopy of leaves, casting delicate patterns of light that danced across her path like ethereal spirits. The whisper of her footsteps on the soft earth was the only sound in the stillness, except for the occasional call of a night bird or the rustle of small creatures moving through the underbrush. She felt the presence of life all around her, each being a part of the intricate web that connected all things. She wandered deeper into the heart of the forest, her heart a steady drumbeat of expectation. The air was infused with the scent of pine and the cool freshness of earth after a light rain, an olfactory symphony that stirred memories of distant places and forgotten dreams. Ilara's thoughts turned to the veiled prophet once more, a figure wrapped in mystery and legend. She wondered at his true nature, whether he was a mere mortal with great wisdom or something more, a guardian or spirit born of the land itself. Her wanderings carried her to a grove of ancient oaks, their trunks wide and spiraling towards the heavens, their leaves whispering under the gentle coaxing of the breeze. Here the world felt old and wise, as though it had stood watch over countless ages and held within its embrace the stories of every creature that had ever trod upon its soil. Settling down at the base of one of the great oaks, Ilara leaned back against the sturdy trunk, her eyes tracing the delicate patterns of moonlight filtering through the branches above. She closed her eyes, and the sounds of the forest began to merge into a symphony, an orchestra of life that guided her deeper into her thoughts and dreams. In that twilight between sleep and wakefulness, a vision began to form so vivid and clear that it seemed more real than any dream. She saw herself standing on the edge of a great valley, the very one she had passed through in her waking life. But under the light of her dream, the valley was transformed into a tapestry of vibrant colors that shimmered and danced like the waves of a distant sea. In this vision, Ilara was not alone. There, standing at the center of the valley, was the figure of the veiled prophet, his robes flowing like the river of stars that arched across the night sky. Though she could not see his face, she felt his gaze upon her, a presence as gentle and profound as the forest around her. He did not speak, yet she understood him all the same. It was a communication beyond words, passing from soul to soul like a river of understanding. Ilara sensed a connection, a shared quest for truth and wisdom that bound them together across the vastness of the night. In that moment, the vision shifted, revealing scenes of places she had never been, but felt deeply connected to a desert under a sultry sun, a marshland awash with the calls of unseen creatures, and a frozen tundra stretching endlessly to the horizon. Each image was accompanied by a sense of longing, a compelling urge to explore, understand, and connect. As these visions danced before her, Ilara felt a stirring within her soul. It was a realization that her journey was not merely a physical one, but a journey into the understanding of herself, the world, and the intricate connections binding the realms of possibility weaving through her life. Gradually the vision faded, leaving behind a feeling of peace and a profound sense of purpose. When she opened her eyes, the forest remained the same, yet everything felt illuminated by a deeper sense of meaning. She knew now that the path she traveled was intertwined with the paths of countless lives, seen and unseen. Ilara rose from her place beneath the oak, filled with renewed determination. Her steps took her once more along the winding path, leading her further into the depths of the ancient forest. Here the land itself seemed to breathe a soft and steady pulse that resonated through her very being. The night lingered lovingly, cradling her as she moved forward. Though the veiled prophet still remained a shadow in the periphery of her understanding, her heart felt aligned with his wisdom. With each step she wove herself deeper into the tapestry of the forest, a journey that transcended time and spoke to the depths of her searching spirit. As the first light of dawn began to caress the horizon, illuminating the world in shades of gold and gentle violet, Ilara continued toward her destiny, the answers she sought as real as the path beneath her feet. Her journey, though far from complete, brought her into the realm where dreams and reality danced a quiet tango. leaving her to follow where the whispers of the world might lead. As dawn's embrace gradually painted the sky with hues of soft gold and rose, the forest awoke in its gentle grace. The air, cool and crisp, carried with it the first whispers of the day's promise, caressing Ilara's cheeks as she journeyed onwards. The dew-kissed leaves glimmered under the tender touch of light, each drop a miniature world reflecting a kaleidoscope of colors. The forest path, now bathed in the warm light of morning, unfurled before her like a ribbon of possibility, guiding her through the heart of this ancient, living cathedral. Ilara moved with soft steps, not wishing to disturb the serenity of the land, feeling more like a welcomed guest within these venerable woods than an intruder. She breathed in deeply, grounding herself in the primal rhythm of the world around her. As she wandered deeper in thought, her surroundings gently shifted, revealing new layers of wonder within the forest. She came upon a hidden glen, a sanctuary where sunlight pooled lazily upon the grass like liquid gold. Here the trees stood as silent sentinels, ancient guardians of this sacred space, their roots deeply entwined with the heartbeat of the earth. Ilara paused at the edge of this secret place, feeling a tangible spirit within the glen, a presence that seemed to breathe through the leaves and whispered through the sighing branches. It was as if time had chosen to linger here, weaving its stories into the very fabric of the land itself. She approached with humility, drawn to the quiet wisdom emanating from every stone and stream. At the center of the glen lay a small, clear pool, its surface unmarred except for the occasional ripple created by a gentle breeze. The water, a mirror of the sky, reflected more than just the clouds and the arch of blue above. It seemed to draw forth images from the depths of Ilara's heart, echoes of desires and truth she had yet to fully understand. She knelt beside the pool, allowing her reflection to intermingle with the universe it mirrored. Within its depths, she saw a fleeting image of the veiled prophet, more a feeling than a vision. His robes of moonbeam and shadow seemed to blend seamlessly with the waters, an ephemeral figure eternally poised at the threshold of reality and dream. In that moment of stillness, a revelation gently washed over her, a realization that this journey was not solely about the external search for the prophet, but rather an internal pilgrimage into her own soul. The questions she carried were not just for the prophet to answer, but for her to discover within herself. As if affirming her thought, a rustle in the nearby grove broke the silence, drawing her attention to a gathering of deer at the edge of the glen. They stepped carefully into the clearing, their movements fluid and graceful. They acknowledged her presence with a curious gaze, their large eyes reflecting a wisdom she could almost grasp. Ilara watched them silently, understanding that they too were woven into the same tapestry of existence that connected all living things. With their quiet departure, Ilara rose from the pool's edge, the glen having unfurled another layer of the forest's endless wisdom. She moved onward, her heart imbued with a newfound sense of purpose and connection. Her path led her deeper still into the embrace of the forest, where secrets lay hidden within sun-dappled groves and beneath the canopy of whispering leaves. The sun climbed higher in the sky, casting beams of emerald and amber light upon her path. It was a dance of color and warmth, inviting her to continue this journey of discovery. Every step felt like an affirmation of the life that pulsed beneath the surface of the earth, a reminder of the interconnectedness of all beings. Ilara traversed beneath arching branches entwined with spirals of ivy, her thoughts dancing alongside memories of whispered tales and ancient songs. The journey, she reflected, was as much about the moments of silence as it was about discovering the voice of the veiled prophet. Each whispering breeze, each rustle of leaves, spoke in the language of forgotten wisdom, urging her ever onward. As daylight began to wane, casting shadows long and deep upon her path, Nyrah knew that she was reaching closer to the heart of her quest. Her steps brought her to a river, its waters singing a melody both ancient and new. The river, a lifeline through the forest, sparkled under the dying light of day, beckoning her forward with its siren song. Standing at the river's edge, Nyrah listened to its voice, feeling the smooth stones beneath her feet, a testament to the passage of time. She dipped her fingers into its depths, the water cool and invigorating, flowing through her hand like a tangible thread connecting her to the earth. The river spoke to her in the hushed tones of the ancients, guiding her gaze to the horizon where the last vestiges of sunlight surrendered to the encroaching night. In that twilight realm, Nyrah found solace, embracing the truth that every journey is as much about the soul's awakening as it is about the destination. With the night once more casting its cloak of mystery over the land, Nyrah resolved to follow the river's course, trusting that it would lead her closer to the elusive truths whispered by the veiled prophet. The forest's breath guided her steps, a steady hand carrying her further into the embrace of destiny, weaving her story into the endless dance of stars and shadows. The river's melody wove through the stillness of the evening, a gentle lullaby that carried with it tales of distant lands and whispered secrets. As Nyrah walked alongside its banks, she felt the quiet strength of its flow echoing in her pulse, a reminder of the unbroken continuity of life. The river seemed to know her heart, its song harmonizing with her inner musings, calming her thoughts and inviting reflection. The path she followed traced the river's gentle curves, leading her deeper into the heart of the forest. The night sky opened above her like a vast tapestry, studded with stars that shimmered like fragments of ancient dreams. They cast a soft light upon the earth, illuminating her way with a celestial glow. In the moonlit stillness, the forest felt alive with a presence both ancient and wise. Each rustle of leaves spoke volumes, and the soft chirping of crickets marked the passage of time in a rhythm as old as creation. There was a profound peace here that settled into Nyrah's soul, aligning her being with the ever-present wisdom of the night. As she continued, Nyrah came upon a narrow stone bridge that arched gracefully over the river's embrace. Its stones were worn smooth by time and elements, a testament to countless travelers who had crossed it before her. Standing at the crest, she paused, allowing the river's song to envelop her, its gentle flow reflecting the heavens in an endless dance of light. She lingered on the bridge, the connection between earth and sky, and wondered how many souls had stood where she did, seeking answers and guidance, just as she now sought the wisdom of the veiled prophet. Her heart whispered quiet promises of discovery as the air kissed her skin, cool and invigorating. With renewed resolve, Nyrah continued her journey, the path now leading her into a denser part of the forest where shadows deepened and the canopy thickened above. Here, the moonlight danced in patches across the ground, creating patterns that seemed almost as if painted by unseen hands. In this secluded enclave, the air was heavy with the scent of pine and rich earth, an invitation to explore deeper the mysteries of the land. Her senses were heightened, each sound and scent drawing her further into the story unfolding around her, a story she knew she was now intrinsically a part of. The forest path wound its way to a clearing, opening up to an expanse where life stirred in quiet harmony. In the center of this clearing, a circle of standing stones rose solemnly from the earth, their surfaces etched with ancient runes that glinted softly in the moonlight. These stones were guardians of forgotten lore, silent witnesses to the passage of ages. Nyrah approached them with reverence, sensing their deep connection to the natural world. She touched one gently, feeling the cool stone beneath her fingertips, and closed her eyes. Suddenly she was filled with a sense of timelessness, as if she had stepped into a realm where past and present intertwined. Within her mind's eye, she glimpsed fleeting visions of long-vanished peoples, their dances and songs woven with laughter and tears echoing across the tapestry of existence. In this sacred space, Nyrah felt the presence of the veiled prophet, as more than just a figure of legend. The prophet was a part of the land, his essence infused with every shadow and light, whispering truths to those who sought them with open hearts. The stones seemed to hum softly, a resonance that vibrated through her being, aligning with the rhythm of her breath. Here, in this luminous quiet, Nyrah felt cradled within the wisdom of the ages, guided by an unseen hand toward the understanding she sought. Time was a gentle tide here, and as the night wore on, Nyrah allowed herself to rest against the stone's sacred touch. She knew the answers she longed for were manifold, woven into the very essence of the forest and her journey through it. Her pilgrimage was not about exertion or hurry, but about the gentle unfolding of insight and transformation. As the first tendrils of dawn began to edge the horizon with hints of color, Nyrah rose, feeling the warm promise of a new day. The forest began to stir anew, a symphony of life greeting the morning with subtle exuberance. She knew that with each day she moved closer to the heart of her path, and to the lost echoes of her soul's deepest callings. The stones bid her farewell with a soft hum as the forest path beckoned her once again, whispering of untold stories and truth yet to be revealed. With the light of dawn guiding her steps, Nyrah continued onward, drawn ever closer into the embrace of the veiled prophet's secrets and the mysteries of her own unfolding destiny. With the dawn's first light painting the world in muted rose and gold, Nyrah once more set foot upon the forest path, her spirit buoyed by the whispers of ancient stones and the promise of discovery. The air, crisp and expectant, carried the gentle songs of waking birds, their calls weaving seamlessly into the ever-present symphony of the forest. Nyrah walked with purpose, her heart attuned to the subtle shifts in her surroundings. Each step felt like a meditation, a gentle interplay between the familiar and the unknown. The trees around her were ancient sentinels, their branches arching high above, as if cradling the sky itself. Their leaves shimmered in the morning light, a tapestry of green and gold. As she continued, the forest deepened, and the path led her through a grove of birch trees. Their white trunks stood in stark contrast to the dark earth, as if they were ghostly figures frozen in silent conversation with the morning breeze. Nyrah paused to run her fingers over the smooth bark, feeling the gentle pulse of life beneath her touch. Here, in this secluded grove, time seemed to stretch and elongate, granting her a space to reflect, a haven where her thoughts could drift like dandelion seeds upon the wind. The subtle perfume of wildflowers wafted around her, wrapping her in a fragrant embrace as she listened to the gentle rustling of leaves. The path beyond the grove climbed gently upward, inviting her to explore the higher ground. As Nyrah ascended, the canopy opened, revealing patches of clear blue sky through the interwoven branches. Sunlight dappled her path, lending a warmth to the air that felt welcoming and serene. At the summit of the rise, she found herself gazing out over a breathtaking expanse, a vast valley blanketed in a sea of emerald green, bordered by rolling hills that undulated like the narrows of a great river. The air here tasted different, seasoned with adventure and the sense of distant places waiting to be discovered. The forest opened before her like a story yet unwritten, each page a mystery to be explored. Nyrah felt a profound connection with this land, as if the very earth beneath her feet spoke in rhythms her heart could comprehend. Her gaze lingered on the horizon, where the sun rose slowly, casting its golden light across the landscape, igniting each dew-drenched blade of grass like a flame. Nyrah's thoughts turned inward as she rested upon the summit, a peaceful silence enveloping her. She contemplated her journey thus far, the visions that had danced before her eyes, the whispers and dreams that had guided her steps. With each breath she drew in the tapestry of the land, weaving herself more deeply into its rich narrative. Her heart told her that she was drawing ever nearer to the veiled prophet, whose presence seemed to infuse every shadow and beam of light. She felt him in the caress of the wind, in the ripple of water, and in the silent wisdom of the stars above. Suddenly the air shifted, stirring with a gentle breeze that swept through the valley. It carried with it the faintest sound of music, woven from the rustling leaves and the distant call of an unseen bird. Intrigued, Nyrah stood and followed its haunting melody, her feet finding the path once more, leading her back into the embrace of the forest. The melody was ethereal, weaving through the trees like a song carried by the spirits of the wood. As she drew nearer, the sound grew clearer, resonating with an ancientness that touched her soul. It beckoned her forward, guiding her deeper into the heart of the forest, where shadows intermixed with light in an eternal dance. Before long she came upon a clearing where the music seemed to emanate from the very earth. Here the trees formed a natural amphitheater, their trunks like columns holding up the sky, while the canopy above seemed to filter the light into hues of vibrant green and gold. In the center of this living cathedral stood a figure wrapped in robes of ethereal light and shadow, a presence unmistakably the veiled prophet. Though his face remained hidden beneath layers of flowing veils, the wisdom of his gaze was palpable, echoing through the clearing like a silent oath. Nyrah felt herself drawn to the prophet, her steps light and reverent as she approached. The music swelled around her, rising from the land itself, welcoming her into this sacred space between worlds. Her pulse quickened with anticipation, yet her heart felt steady, grounded by the earth beneath her feet. When she stood before the veiled prophet, a profound silence descended, enveloping them in a cocoon of timelessness. No words were spoken, yet understanding flowed between them like a gentle stream, communicating in the language of dreams and silence. Nyrah's spirit trembled with the acknowledgement of what lay before her, a gateway to the knowledge she sought, to the answers she had longed for, but more importantly, the realization that her journey had already uncovered the truths she carried within her, truths once whispered by the gentle breath of the forest. In the presence of the veiled prophet, Nyrah knew she was exactly where she needed to be, poised at the edge of revelation and destiny, her heart open to the mysteries yet to be unveiled. She felt a calm acceptance, embracing the uncertainty of the path that lay ahead, for it was a path she no longer feared, but welcomed as a cherished part of her own unfolding story. The silence between Nyrah and the veiled prophet was a deep and soothing well, filled with the unspoken truths of the universe. In those quiet moments, the forest seemed to hold its breath, echoing the profound stillness that settled around them. The clearing felt like a sanctuary, a realm where the boundaries between the physical and the mystical blurred into a harmonious whole. Nyrah, standing at the edge of enlightenment, allowed herself to be enveloped by the quiet grace of the place. The air was fragrant with the scent of earth and cedar, the ancient trees bearing witness to this sacred meeting. She felt an invisible thread connecting her to the prophet, a shared understanding that transcended words. The veiled prophet, though silent, emanated an aura of wisdom and compassion. Nyrah felt the warmth of his presence, as though the sun itself had dipped lower to brush the tips of the leaves with its golden light. The veils that surrounded him shifted gently, as if responding to the rhythm of the land, swirling like whispers caught in a dance with the wind. With a calm sense of purpose, Nyrah closed her eyes, opening her heart to the wisdom that lay just beyond the threshold of conscious thought. In the stillness, she could sense the echoes of her journey, a tapestry of experiences and emotions interwoven with the fabric of the forest's eternal cycle. Her mind drifted back to childhood days beneath the open sky, where her dreams began to take shape in the company of stars. Images of her village, her flock grazing in the meadow, and evenings spent listening to tales spun by firelight, flowed through her like a gentle stream, each one a drop in the river of who she had become. Just as gently, her awareness returned to the present, where the veiled prophet remained a constant, unwavering presence before her. The bond they shared was a bridge, spanning the mystery that separated them, each moment bringing her closer to the clarity she sought. Without a word, the prophet extended a graceful hand, the silken veils parting slightly to reveal a glimpse of a palm etched with ancient symbols, glowing softly in the dappled light. It was a gesture of invitation, of communion, one that resonated deeply within Nyrah's soul. Taking a deep breath, she placed her hand over his, feeling the warmth and the energy that flowed between them like a river of light. In that instant, her vision shifted once more, and she found herself standing amid the stars, each a bright and burning beacon of knowledge and possibility. This time, however, the stars were not distant, but close enough to touch, their brilliance illuminating paths she had yet to explore. She felt herself part of a greater whole, her essence mirrored in the starlit sky above her, her soul's journey entwined with the universe's eternal dance. Nyrah understood that the answers she sought lay not in grand revelations, but in the simple, profound truths already within her. They rested in each quiet moment spent listening to the world, in the connection she forged with the land and its myriad creatures. The clarity she yearned for was a journey rather than a destination, an unfolding of potential that mirrored the dance of the stars. Opening her eyes, she beheld the prophet's veiled visage once more, his presence a quiet affirmation of the truth she had discovered. The shared vision began to fade, leaving behind a gentle echo, a promise written in the silent language of the stars. The clearing around them pulsed with life, the forest breathing along with Nyrah as she maintained her connection with the prophet. She knew now that her quest for understanding was not only a path to wisdom, but a deep exploration into the heart of existence itself. Releasing the prophet's hand, she felt a profound sense of peace and gratitude. The veiled prophet, keeper of ages, had guided her to a greater understanding of her own spirit, revealing the intricate design that wove together all life and possibility. Nyrah stood in the clearing, the morning sun now casting long shadows that stretched across the earth. She sensed the gentle closure of one chapter and the subtle invitation of another yet untold. Her journey was far from over, and each step promised new wonders and new insights, all leading her ever onward through the luminous weave of destiny. With the forest birds singing their sleepy morning song and the world awakening around her, Nyrah took a breath, filled with a renewed commitment to her quest. The path lay ahead like a promise unspoken, a dream waiting to unfold beneath daylight's tender touch. She turned toward the forest once more, ready to continue her pilgrimage, confident in her newfound understanding and the guiding presence of the veiled prophet, whose whispers would forever echo through the corridors of her mind and the vast, expansive landscape of her heart. The morning sun climbed higher in the sky, casting a warm glow that filtered softly through the branches of the ancient forest. Nyrah, filled with an inner light that echoed the wisdom she had absorbed in the prophet's presence, continued her journey along the winding path that beckoned her deeper into the verdant heart of the woods. The forest, now fully awake, vibrated with a quiet energy that seemed to pulse in harmony with her own heartbeat. Each step she took felt more assured, as if the land itself guided her with gentle whispers of encouragement. The air was fragrant with the smell of spring blossoms, mingling with the earthy aroma rising from the rich soil underfoot. The road before her transformed into a dappled corridor of greens and golds, inviting and serene. Sunlight danced across the leaf-carpeted ground, and shadows played a soft game of hide and seek among the trunks of towering trees. The world around her unfolded like a living tapestry, its threads woven with the vibrant life of the forest. As she walked, Nyrah reflected on the revelations she had encountered. The peace she felt was new, a gentle acceptance that her path was not merely a journey to discover the external world, but a continuous unfolding within her own soul. She had learned to listen to the quiet voices that spoke in the rustle of leaves and the flowing water, finding meaning in silence as profound as any spoken word. The trail led Nyrah to a wide stream cutting through the forest, its waters sparkling with the light of the sun, each ripple a fleeting jewel in the dance of existence. She knelt beside it, cupping fresh water into her hands. As she drank, the coolness on her lips felt like an embrace from the earth, rejuvenating her spirit and body. Near the stream's edge, she noticed small cairns of stones, balanced skillfully, one atop the other. Each cairn seemed a silent sentinel, a marker left by travelers who had come this way before her, people unknown, but connected through shared journeys. Nyrah, feeling the weight of kinship, selected a smooth stone and added it to one of the piles, her touch a gentle homage to the passage of those who had walked this path. Continuing along the stream's course, the path meandered through a meadow filled with wildflowers swaying in the soft breeze, their colors a rich palette painted against the canvas of verdant grass. Bees hummed lazily from blossom to blossom, busily gathering nectar, their industry a soothing soundtrack to the warmth of the day. In the distance lay a grove of willow trees, their delicate branches hanging low, trailing through the air like the tendrils of a dream. Nyrah felt drawn to the grove, where the willows swayed like old friends basking in the golden light. She found a spot beneath their shade, sitting upon the cool earth as the soft murmur of the stream played a gentle melody nearby. The willows whispered to her with the language of the wind, and Nyrah closed her eyes, letting their soft rustling speak to her heart. Within the embrace of their shade, time idled, and she drifted on the brink of a waking dream, where past and present wove seamlessly into the fabric of her being. Visions unfolded, once more images of the valley she had crossed, the shimmering waters she had touched, and the guiding light of the veiled prophet. Each scene was a piece of a puzzle, a fragment of meaning in the tapestry of her life. These reflections were not new, but familiar, like a song she had known all along, yet was only now beginning to truly hear. In this sacred space she understood that every step, every pause in her journey, was simply a dance with the natural world, an expression of her soul's desire to connect deeply with the mystery that surrounded her. The forest was both her guide and her mirror, reflecting back to her the beauty and complexity of her inner landscape. With the afternoon sun casting long shadows and the willows nodding gently against the breeze, Nyrah rose with a sense of gratitude. Her goal was no longer only to seek out the veiled prophet, but to discover what his wisdom had awakened within her. She felt the path beckoning once more, the forest its eternal companion, and her heart light with the promise of new adventures unfolding on the horizon. As she continued, the trees seemed to sing a soft lullaby, ushering her into the embrace of the land's rhythm, guiding her steps toward destinations both known and unknown. Nyrah moved onward, her spirit alive with the dance of discovery, feeling at home in the world that opened before her like a book, each page a new story, each moment a precious breath in the endless narrative of life. The prophet's veils had begun to part, revealing not the end of her quest, but the beginning of a deeper journey, one that carried her ever further into the heart of the mystery that was her world. As the afternoon sun gently dipped toward the horizon, casting elongated shadows that stretched like fingers over the earth, Nyrah felt a calm resolve settle within her. Her journey through the forest had not just been a physical traversal of distance, but an inward voyage into the uncharted territories of her own spirit. The forest around her buzzed with the quiet hum of life crickets chirping, the distant call of a bird returning to its nest, and the gentle rustle of leaves catching the whispers of the wind. It was a song as old as the world itself, a melody that resonated in harmony with the rhythm of her steps. Nyrah walked with a renewed sense of purpose, her heart attuned to the tender caress of the land. She remembered the touch of the veiled prophet's hand, the warmth that had flowed between them like an ancient river, carrying with it the wisdom of ages. Her path was more than a series of choices. It was a reflection in the natural world, guided by forces she was just beginning to understand. The path led her deeper into the forest, where a slight incline brought her to the crest of a hill. There the trees parted to reveal a vista of breathtaking beauty, a lake laced with the golden light of the setting sun. The water stretched like a mirror, capturing the sky's glorious tapestry and holding it within its tranquil embrace. Nyrah paused, absorbing the scene before her, where the sunlight danced upon the ripples in the lake, transforming them into shimmering threads of gold. The beauty of the scene pierced her with a sense of peace, yet it held the weight of longing, a promise of stories and truths still to be realized. Drawn by an inexplicable pull, Nyrah descended to the edge of the lake. With each step, the symphony of the forest grew softer, replaced by the whispers of water sighing against sand. Here the world seemed to pause for contemplation, holding its breath in the presence of the pristine beauty. She knelt at the water's edge, her reflection becoming intertwined with the celestial expanse above. Within this mirrored surface, she sensed the echoes of dreams and the songs of forgotten times. She thought of the villagers who had spoken of the prophet with wonder and reverence, their words now weaving into the space of her own understanding. As she sat quietly, the lake's surface shimmering with twilight's gentle hues, Nyrah felt an echo in her heart, a resonant knowing. Here was a threshold, a place where time slipped seamlessly between the seen and unseen. It was a juncture where reality softened into dream, where the veiled prophet's mysteries danced invisibly in the fading light. Nyrah lifted her gaze to the far shore, where the silhouettes of distant trees stood like silent guardians against the encroaching night. The entire landscape stood poised between dusk and darkness, the world caught in a delicate balance of transition. It reminded her of her own journey, caught between the life she had known and the new paths yet to be trodden. In this moment of reflection, her vision expanded, embracing the vastness of the universe that lay both within and beyond her. She felt a profound gratitude for the journey, for the connections and revelations that had unfolded like petals in the dawn. The veiled prophet, while still enigmatic, had become a symbol of the all-encompassing wisdom that lay just beyond the limit of reason, within reach of those willing to step beyond the veil. As the stars began to awaken, a soft glow suffused the landscape, bathing everything in silvery light. Nyrah breathed deeply, drawing the night air into her lungs, and rose from her place at the water's edge. Her mind was a harmonious blend of clarity and mystery, each breath a reminder of the eternal cycle of exploration and discovery. With the night embracing the world, Nyrah turned her thoughts to the path that lay before her, a path promising new discoveries, led by the stars and the quiet guidance of the forest. The lake, now silvered by moonlight, lay behind her as she walked, each step a continuation of the dance between the known and the unknown. The night opened before her like an inviting tapestry of dreams woven into reality. With each step, the veiled prophet's whispers seemed closer, an invisible guide alongside her, lightening each footfall and illuminating her path. As she continued onward, the ancient forest embraced her once more, its canopy enshrouded in shadow, its heart alive with the pulse of the eternal. Stars stretched in grand arch overhead, charting a course not only through the heavens, but through the boundless possibilities within her own spirit. Nyrah's journey unfolded beneath the sky's serene gaze, not as a pursuit of answers, but as a voyage toward understanding, the revelation that life itself was the answer she sought, hidden within the dance of stars and stories, within the gentle murmur of the world that cradled her every step in the soft glow of eternity. The night unfolded around Nyrah like a vast, iridescent cloak, its fabric woven with threads of starlight and shadow. The path she followed wound through the heart of the ancient forest, where each tree stood like a silent witness to her solitary journey. Above, the sky was a sea of stars, shimmering and endless, their luminescent dance a silent hymn to the mysteries of the cosmos. As she walked, the forest spoke in gentle whispers, the rustling leaves and sighing branches carrying tales of the earth's countless secrets. Nyrah felt as though each step peeled back a layer of the world, revealing deeper truths pulsating beneath the surface of life. The knowledge she sought was mirrored in the natural world. The rivers flow, the winds caress, the silent watch of the owl. She moved with the fluid grace of a dreamer caught within the realms of blinking consciousness and ethereal shadow, her senses finely tuned to the rhythm of the nocturnal landscape. Each sound, each whisper of wind across her skin, became an integral verse in the melody of the night. Her own heartbeat was a counterpoint, grounding her firmly amidst the grandeur and immensity of the universe. Ahead, the path began to climb gently upward, leading her to a crest where the trees parted to reveal a vista touched by moonlight's silver kiss. From this point, the landscape unfurled like an eternal canvas, a balance of light and darkness painted upon the world by the hands of night. The hills undulated beneath her gaze, and in the distance the glimmering threads of rivers stretched like luminous veins through the earth. Here, at the crest, Nyrah stopped, her breath catching as she took in the vastness. The moon hung low, a celestial lantern, casting shadows and illuminating the world with a tender glow. She was an observer, a small but vital focal point within the grand tapestry of existence. Her heart swelled with a quiet joy as she stood there, feeling the deep communion with the land and sky, both ancient yet eternally new. The veiled prophet, with his gaze that saw beyond time and space, had led her here, not with words, but with the silent eloquence of shared understanding. A gentle breeze began to stir, carrying with it the cool scent of pine and the hush of distant waters. It brushed against her, caressing her cheek with its ethereal fingers. She let her eyes close, surrendering to the night, and in that moment she felt both small and infinite, a part of something much larger than herself. As Nyrah opened her eyes, a subtle transformation seemed to unfold. The world around her shimmered with a clarity she had not perceived before, a clarity not of sight, but of the heart. The night landscape became a mirror, reflecting her soul's deepest currents, her own potential echoing in the vast silence that surrounded her. The realization dawned slowly, softly, as petals unfurl in the presence of warm sunlight. Her journey through the forest, the search for the veiled prophet, was a quest as much within as without. The questions she carried were ancient, yet eternally relevant, woven into the cosmic dance that spun around her. Every step had been a step further into herself, guided by the world she tread upon. She turned back to the path with a renewed sense of peace and purpose. The forest, embracing the night's deep chill, held paths untraveled and wonders yet unseen. Her heart, a compass turned upon a gentle star, navigated the laced pathways of fate as they unwound amid the shadows and light. Nyrah continued onward, embraced by the lullaby of the twilight. Her thoughts flowed in harmony with the world, a gentle current carrying her ever forward. With each step she etched a new story in time's memory, a story begun long before her first breath and destined to continue long after. A distant cry, sweet and mournful, serenaded the night, and Nyrah knew that her journey was guided by the harmonious breath shared between the seen and the unseen. The whisper of the world grew silent as she listened to her own understanding, the harmony being crafted within her. The moon, waltzing gracefully through the heavens, watched over her journey like a silent guardian as she moved deeper into the dance between the known and the unrealized. Her mind was a reflection of the landscape itself, vast, mysterious, a mixture of promises eternal and dreams not yet born. In this peaceful contemplation, Nyrah walked through the night, bathed in the knowledge that each new dawn held a part of the mystery she yearned to unveil. The stars illuminated her path, the gentle cradle of the world carrying her forward, deeper into the heart of her quest, beneath the veiled watch of eternity. The forest thickened around Nyrah as she ventured deeper, its fragrant embrace closing in gently, as though whispering secrets she could almost hear. The trees grew taller here, ancient and wise, their roots twisting like the tailies of olden times, delving deep into the virgin earth. Each step Nyrah took felt like a dance upon the living tapestry of the world, a timeless waltz with the spirit of nature itself. The moon, a silver century high above, illuminated her way with a soft, ethereal light. Shadows played beneath her feet like fleeting memories, while the stars continued their silent vigil in the vast expanse, littering the sky with their luminous trail. The night was alive with the symphony of crickets and the soft whispering of leaves, weaving a harmonious lullaby that soothed her soul and eased her weary thoughts. As Nyrah moved along the path, she felt drawn towards a gentle murmuring that seemed to emanate from the very heart of the forest. It was a sound both familiar and otherworldly, resonating like the call of an era forgotten by time. With each step it grew clearer, drawing her further into its enchanting embrace, a siren song carried upon the wings of the night breeze. The path unwound before her, revealing a small clearing where a pool of crystal-clear water lay cradled in the arms of the earth. Here the moonlight kissed the surface, setting it alive with 1,000 trembling stars that shimmered with a serene luminosity. Nyrah approached, captivated by the pool's ethereal beauty, feeling its pull as though it held the answers to questions she had yet to dream. Kneeling at the water's edge, she peered into its mirror-like depths. Her reflection gazed back, but she saw more than her own visage. There was a story woven into the water's gentle ripples, an ancient dance of elements and time. The pool captured moments lost to the river of years, whispered secrets from the echo of the universe itself. As she stared, the vision shifted, revealing a tapestry of images. She saw the village of her birth, nestled at the edge of the world, beneath skies painted with the hues of twilight. The village elders appeared, speaking of the veiled prophet in tones of reverence and awe. She glimpsed her younger self tending her flock, gazing up at the stars with wonder in her eyes. The scenes blurred and changed. She found herself looking upon vast valleys and whispering forests, the sanctuaries where the veiled prophet was said to wander. In each place a part of her soul seemed to dwell, as if she had walked these paths in another lifetime, her spirit entwined with the land's ancient pulse. Then, slowly, the vision faded, leaving only the gentle lapping of water against the shore. Nyrah sat back, a newfound understanding blossoming within her heart. The forest, the veiled prophet, the quest, each was a thread in the intricate weave of her destiny, a journey written not in stone, but in the ephemeral dance of stars and shadows. Rising, Nyrah took in the clearing once more, her heart a quiet symphony of resolve and peace. The night wrapped around her like a comforting cloak, its cool breath carrying the promise of dawn. As she returned to the path, the winds whispered caressingly, guiding her forward with the gentle insistence of love. The path led her through a tunnel of arcing branches, entwined and braided like ancient hands locked in eternal prayer. This passage seemed to welcome her with a resonant hum, the very stones beneath her feet alive with energy. It was as if the forest was aware of her quest, its spirit aligning with hers, echoing her heartbeat in its harmonious chord. Each step was a gift, each breath a melody, as Nyrah became one with the rhythm of the night. Her soul danced in harmony with the song of the earth, the stars, and the unseen forces that whispered softly in her ear. In the heart of that timeless journey, Nyrah knew that tranquility was not the absence of life's questions, but the acceptance of its mysteries. Her path was the thread that tied her to the living web of existence, a thread spun with wonder and the gentle breath of dreams untold. And so she continued in the embrace of the eternal night, her spirit a guiding star in the boundless ocean of the universe's soul, every step a step towards the deeper understanding of the silence within, carrying forward into the waiting arms of dawn, where the shadows receded and the world prepared to wake once more. The forest deepened around Nyrah, a world unto itself where time seemed to ebb and flow like the gentle currents of a vast unseen sea. As she moved onward, the path beneath her feet became a tapestry woven with stories both ancient and new, each leaf a word, each shadow a verse in the rhythmic lullaby of existence. Her journey was now guided by an inner compass, a sense of direction not dictated by the stars above, but by the quiet wisdom whispered in the rustling leaves. She had come to trust this feeling, this burgeoning awareness that whispered to her of truths buried deep within the earth and mirror like pools of water. The quietude of the forest had taught her to listen, to feel, and to be. Suddenly the trees parted, revealing a glade suffused with the mellow light of dawn. The first fingers of daylight stretched across the clearing, casting long shadows that danced with the promise of yet another day. Nyrah paused at its edge, inhaling the fresh morning air that smelled of dew and wildflowers in bloom. It embraced her with a gentle caress, a moment of peace before the day unfolded. She advanced into the glade, drawn by its tranquil beauty. The grass whispered underfoot, the earth firm and steady beneath her steps. In the center stood a majestic oak, its ancient boughs reaching across the heavens, as though gathering the light into its leafy embrace. Its presence emanated a serene wisdom, a steadfast guardian of nature's secrets. Nyrah approached the oak, placing a hand on its rough bark, feeling the pulse of life flowing beneath her fingertips. She closed her eyes, allowing herself to become lost in its silent symphony. The tree spoke in the language of the earth, a wordless communication that resonated deep within her being, calming the tides of her thoughts. In this communion she found solace, a reminder that amidst the chaos of the world, there was always a steady center, a point of balance within the dance of life and dreams. Her journey, once charged with the urgency of finding the veiled prophet, had transformed into something more profound, a pilgrimage towards understanding herself against the limitless backdrop of the cosmos. As the sun climbed higher, the day began to stir with life. She heard the soft rustle of creatures waking to the warmth of morning, birds greeting the sun with their jubilant songs. Yet here, in the heart of the glade, time held its breath, allowing her a sanctuary in which to dream. Seated beneath the great oak, Nyrah allowed her mind to drift, remembering the visions from the mirrored pool, the fleeting glimpses into realms beyond her knowing. Each image, though ephemeral, had left an imprint on her heart, guiding her journey like a constellation in the night sky. Her thoughts wandered to the veiled prophet, a figure woven into the very essence of the land's folklore. a keeper of mysteries who traversed realms unseen by most. Though she had not yet encountered him since that fateful vision, she felt his presence ever watching, guiding her steps with an unseen hand. Nyrah realized that the search for the prophet was not only about finding him in the physical sense, but recognizing the wisdom and clarity that he symbolized within herself. The threads of her journey were interwoven with the prophet's teachings, not as answers, but as paths to follow, a map not to destinations, but to understanding. With this realization, a quiet joy blossomed, a gentle certainty that her journey was beginning anew with each dawn, each breath drawn beneath the forgiving sky. The path lay waiting, a perennial invitation to explore, to learn, to become. Eventually, as the sun began its slow descent, painting the world in hues of gold and amber, Nyrah rose. She bid farewell to the oak, pressing a final reverent hand to its bark before continuing her journey. The forest welcomed her back with open arms, the path unfurling like a ribbon of silk, leading her ever deeper into the mysteries that awaited discovery. As she walked, Nyrah understood the world as a mirror, reflecting the infinite possibilities within her soul, each step a part of the grand choreography of life. The narrative of her journey, intertwined with the silence of the universe, was only just beginning to unravel its myriad layers, its truths unfolding softly like petals in the morning sun. With the twilight descending once more, cradling the earth in its dusky embrace, Nyrah felt a profound peace taking root. It was a gentle reminder that the quest for understanding was not measured by the answers found, but by the moments of beauty and grace discovered along the way, in the spaces between the breaths of life. Thus Nyrah continued through the shadowed woodlands, her heart a compass set to the soft music of the stars, illuminated by the gentle light that shone from within. Her story, quietly whispered amidst the whispered tailies of the forest, followed the path beyond the visible horizon, weaving through the luminous tapestry of her destiny. As the twilight cast its gentle spell upon the land, Nyrah found herself wandering through the heart of the forest, where each tree stood like a guardian cloaked in mystery and wisdom. The fading light painted the world in hues of twilight blue and soft lavender, a serene prelude to the night that lay ahead. The air was imbued with a tranquil hush, the silence punctuated only by the occasional rustle of foliage, or the call of a solitary bird seeking rest. It was a silence that spoke volumes, vibrating with the presence of ages past and the quiet promise of things yet to come. Nyrah's footsteps were soft upon the earth, following the winding path that led her through this enchanted realm. The forest seemed to embrace her, its rustling leaves whispering secrets that danced upon the evening breeze. She felt a deep connection to everything around her, the pulse of life echoing softly within her heart. In this serene twilight, her thoughts drifted back to her village, a place where the rhythm of days was marked by the rising and setting of the sun, and where fireside tailies painted visions of worlds unseen. The playful dance of her memories filled her with a warmth that lingered like the amber glow of sunset on distant hills. It was in moments like this that Nyrah sensed the gentle presence of the veiled prophet. Though not visible, his essence lingered in the soft sigh of the wind and in the gentle rustle of branches overhead. His wisdom, profound and unspoken, seemed to guide her with a subtlety that pervaded every shadow and shaft of moonlight. As she walked, the path led her to a small clearing, where the horizon stretched endlessly, merging with the vastness of the sky above. Here, the stars began their nightly vigil, emerging one by one to dot the heavens with their silvery light. It was as if the universe was revealing its infinite face, a tapestry of constellations woven with threads of light and time. Nyrah seated herself on the cool earth, her gaze lifted to the great celestial dome overhead. She watched as the constellations formed and reformed, tales written in the language of distant suns, their stories ancient and eternal. The beauty of the night sky was a balm to her soul, a reminder of how small yet integral she was within the cosmic design. In this tranquil reverie, she pondered the mysteries entwined within her journey, the dreams that had set her upon this path, and the unvoiced questions that lingered at the periphery of her consciousness. She understood now that the veiled prophet represented more than someone peripatetic moving through the forest. He embodied the deeper quest for meaning that lay within her. The gentle rustle of leaves announced the arrival of a soft breeze, carrying with it the fragrance of honeysuckle and the distant whispers of the forest. Nyrah breathed deeply, allowing the essence of the night to fill her senses. It was in these moments of stillness that clarity began to emerge, like the first light of dawn touching the horizon. Her journey, she realized, was not about reaching a final destination, but embracing the unfolding path itself. Each step she took, each silence she cherished, brought her closer not only to the veiled prophet, but to the depths of her own being. The quest was as much an inner voyage as it was a trek through the world beyond. Feeling this gentle certainty blooming within, Nyrah rose and began to dance slowly upon the earth. Her movements were tempered by the rhythm of the land, a dance of gratitude and acknowledgement for the lessons learned and the mysteries that remained. The stars above watched with an ancient eye, winking in time with her graceful steps. The night deepened around her, enfolding her in its vast embrace, encouraging the continuity of her dance, a dance unbroken by time or space. It was a connection that transcended the physical, a communion with the universal soul that pulsed with the heartbeat of the stars. Nyrah knew that when the dawn came, it would bring with it new horizons and fresh wonders. But for now, the night was her sanctuary, a sacred space where the world paused in its eternal turning to share its secrets with those who dared to listen. With her heart full of the universe's songs, she continued her path through the forest, her spirit aglow with the soft illumination of inner knowledge. The journey was a tapestry, a living tale that wove together all the colors of existence, where each step, each breath, was a chapter in the story that was unfolding with every heartbeat. And thus, under the shimmering dome of the night sky, Nyrah walked on, her soul as light as the moon's silver touch upon the forest floor, carrying the whispers of the veiled prophet in her heart, guiding her ever onward into the depths of her adventure's promise. The forest wrapped itself around Nyrah like a familiar cloak, the gentle rustle of leaves, a hymn sung by the night itself. Each step forward felt both deliberate and fated, as if her path through the stars and shadows was a story long written, awaiting her touch to turn each page. The moon hung high in the velvet sky, a steadfast companion guiding her through the shifting landscape. Its silvery light transformed even the darkest corners of the forest into dreamscapes, where mysteries lay nestled like seeds beneath the tender soil of dawn. Nyrah moved through these shadows with a quiet confidence, her senses attuned to subtle whispers, the language of the land. Each glade and grove she passed felt like a pause in the melody of her journey, a place where the rhythm shifted and new harmonies wove themselves into the story. The forest was a vast, living presence around her, each tree a watchful elder, every footstep a note echoing in the chorus of time. In the depth of night, she came across a narrow stream, its waters a silver ribbon, threading its way through the undergrowth. The sound of its flowing was like a lullaby, as ancient as the world itself, drawing her towards it. Kneeling beside the stream, she let the cool water run over her fingers, the touch invigorating and grounding. Here, the veil between worlds felt especially thin, as if with the right sigh she might cross from dreams to reality and back again. The veiled prophet had been here. She felt it in her bones, the air carrying a hint of his wisdom mixed with a scent of mint and fern. Lost in thought, Nyrah closed her eyes and let her mind wander. She was acutely aware of the gentle pulse of the earth beneath her, each heartbeat resonating with her own. In this communion, she found images rising unbidden, a distant shore where waves crashed under a moonlit sky, vast meadows alive with the play of shadow and light, and paths winding through the unknown, leading her ever onward. The spirit of the veiled prophet whispered through these visions, not as an actor but as a catalyst igniting the potential within her, coaxing out the questions she did not yet know she held. The answers were not to be sought from without, but cherished from within, a truth as simple and profound as the stars themselves. Her journey with him was a reflection of the eternal, the cyclical dance of discovery and understanding, mirrored in the tranquil flow of the stream beside her. In opening herself to that dance, Nyrah found not only the prophet's essence, but the essence of her own soul. A sudden breeze stirred the leaves, bringing with it the delicate scent of jasmine. It was a reminder of the endless beauty woven into the night's fabric and the life that pulsed beneath it. The forest in its quietude enfolded her as she rose, the stars offering their ethereal light to guide her steps once more. Nyrah followed the stream until it widened into a small pool, a serene mirror cradled by the rocks and trees. The water reflected the sky in brilliant clarity, a sphere captured within a sphere. As she gazed into its depths, she saw the stars above and the stars within, both separate and the same. There was a peace in this reflection, a quiet finding that nestled in her heart. She realized that her journey was not about finding, but acknowledging. It was about walking the path, whether illuminated by sun or moon, with a soul open to the whispers and echoes of the universe. The veiled prophet was not a destination but a passage, a bridge to a deeper understanding. His veils, like those of the night sky, were layers to be parted in the realm of dreams, revealing the light hidden within every shadow. With newfound clarity, Nyrah lingered in the calm embrace of the pool, her heart beating in time with the forest's slow, steady rhythm. Night would eventually yield to day, but for now it held her gently, a guardian of secrets that were as tangible as the earth beneath her feet. And as dawn began its gentle ascent, bathing the world in a palette of rose and gold, Nyrah continued along the path that beckoned her ever onward. Through the awakening world, beneath the changing sky, a journey timeless, infinite, and her own. The dawn crept gently over the forest, casting its tender light upon the world. As the palette of night gave way to the hues of morning, a transformation as subtle and profound as the turning of a page. Nyrah felt the cool touch of dew upon the grass beneath her feet, a soft reminder of the night's lingering embrace. With the sun's arrival, the forest began to hum with the melody of waking life. Birds took flight in the golden light, their songs weaving seamlessly into the morning air. The scent of earth and foliage mingled with the subtle sweetness of blooming wildflowers, creating a tapestry of sensations that filled Nyrah with a quiet joy. Continuing her journey, she followed a trail that wound through the heart of the forest, where ancient trees stood sentinel, their boughs rustling with whispers of wisdom. Every step felt like an embrace from the world around her, each rustle, each gentle breeze, a reminder that she moved through a realm alive with stories. As Nyrah walked, her thoughts meandered like the gentle flow of a brook, reflecting on the revelations that had accompanied her path. She realized that her quest, once charged with fervent purpose, had transformed into a dance of discovery, each moment an invitation to explore the depths of her own spirit. Her heart was like an open book, its pages turning with the sureness of the wind. The path broadened, leading her to a place where the forest receded, revealing a meadow bathed in the light of the new day. Here, the grass swayed in a slow, rhythmic dance, prompted by the whispers of the wind. The meadow was a sea of color and movement, each blade of grass catching the sun's warmth like golden thread woven through the land. In the center of the meadow stood a single willow tree, its branches sweeping gracefully toward the earth, forming a canopy as intimate as a whispered promise. Nyrah felt drawn toward this tranquil haven, sensing a peace that radiated outward as though the tree cradled the heart of the world within its graceful boughs. Approaching the willow, she could hear the soft rustle of its leaves, a personal symphony composed for those willing to listen. It was a lullaby sung in a tongue older than the stars, a reminder of the interconnectedness of all things, seen and unseen. Beneath this ancient tree, the world seemed to hold its breath, offering a sanctuary of stillness. Nyrah settled herself into the cool shade, her back resting comfortably against the willow's sturdy trunk. She closed her eyes and allowed herself to drift, her thoughts becoming the currents of a serene ocean, washed by the gentle sway of the branches above. In this space, the veiled prophet's presence felt closer than ever, his wisdom as palpable as the air she breathed. The willow seemed to have stories of its own, to share tales of changing seasons, of creatures that sought solace under its shade, and of travelers like herself, wandering between the worlds of understanding and dream. Each whisper of leaves rustling carried a new story, a reminder that though the forest was ancient, it was also ever-changing, a reflection of the cyclical dance of life. As she listened, Nyrah felt a deep sense of gratitude wash over her. She was a part of this vast, interconnected tapestry, each thread woven with intention and care. The search for the veiled prophet had helped her uncover the larger truths within herself, guiding her to recognize her place in the universe's intricate design. Opening her eyes, Nyrah found the world bathed in the gentle glow of mid-morning. The meadow before her shimmered with the vibrant energy of life flowers reaching for the sun, insects flitting through the air in a dance of light and shadow. It was a moment of quiet revelation, the understanding that her journey's purpose was not simply an end, but a continuous unfolding. Rising from her place by the willow, she brushed a gentle hand across its bark, bidding it a silent farewell. The path called her forward once more, leading her deeper into the mysteries of the land and within herself. The sun's warmth on her skin was a blessing, a promise of the adventure that stretched before her. Nyrah moved with grace through the meadow, her spirit buoyed by the knowledge earned on her journey thus far, the understanding that the veils, between the known and unknown were as delicate and beautiful as gossamer touched by the morning sun. These veils, akin to those worn by the prophet, were treasures meant to be experienced, one whisper at a time. With each step her heart sang with the promise of discovery. The veiled prophet, although elusive, had revealed much to her, and she knew her path would continue to win through the starlit tapestry of dreams and reality, guided by the clarion call of the universe itself, an endless exploration of the soul. As the day wore on and the sun painted golden shadows across the land, Nyrah followed the path toward the horizon, her spirit as free and limitless as the sky above. Her journey was far from over, and with each step into the unknown, she carried the whispers of wisdom and the promise of what lay hidden beyond each gentle fold in the earth. As Nyrah continued her journey, the forest seemed to breathe with life, its energy a serene presence that enveloped her in its embrace. She walked along a path that wound through the trees like a ribbon, each twist and turn revealing new wonders. Here the sunlight filtered through the canopy in golden streams, casting patterns of light and shadow that played upon the earth like a soft melody. The air was alive with the scent of pine and earth, a fragrant reminder of the forest's ancient wisdom. Birds called to one another in jubilant song, their voices dancing through the air in a joyful symphony that spoke of the beauty inherent in each moment. The world around her was a tapestry woven with threads of sound and color, inviting her to partake in its quiet celebration. With each step, Nyrah felt a sense of purpose settle into her heart, a purpose not born of destination, but of journey itself. Her quest for the veiled prophet had become something greater than a search for an enigmatic figure. It was now an exploration of the mystery and wonder that existed both within and around her. The path brought her to a gentle rise, and as she reached the top, the forest opened up to reveal a view that stole her breath away. A great valley stretched before her, a sea of green undulating beneath the sky, painted with the colors of the coming twilight. The sun hung low on the horizon, its descent casting a warm glow that kissed the landscape in hues of amber and rose. Nyrah stood poised between heaven and earth, the view stretching endlessly before her, a silent testament to the vastness of the world and her place within it. The valley below seemed to pulse with life. Rivers wound like silver threads through the land, while groves of trees clustered like islands in an emerald sea. Every detail was rendered in sharp relief, from the distant mountains that rose like guardians on the horizon to the soft sway of grasses in the breeze. In that moment of stillness she felt the touch of eternity, a whisper in her soul that spoke of the infinite connections that bound her to the universe. The veiled prophet, she realized, was more than a figure in legend. He was a representation of the journey itself, a guide to the hidden depths of the soul and the boundless expanse of the cosmos. As the sun dipped below the mountains, the sky deepened to a rich indigo, and the first stars began to twinkle overhead. Nyrah took a deep breath, filling her lungs with the cool evening air. The path before her was bathed in moonlight, inviting her to continue her journey beneath the watchful gaze of the heavens. Descending the rise, she entered the valley, where the air was filled with the gentle hum of crickets and the soft sigh of the wind through the trees. The world felt alive with possibility, each step a step into the unknown, a step toward the deeper understanding she sought. As she moved through the valley, her thoughts were like leaves carried on a gentle breeze. drifting across memories and dreams. She thought of the village she had left behind, nestled at the edge of the world, and the whispered stories that had sparked this journey. Each tale, each fragment of legend was a thread in the great tapestry of existence, connecting her to the past and the future, the seen and the unseen. Ahead, nestled within a stand of ancient oaks, she saw the flicker of a small fire, a beacon that promised warmth and companionship. Drawn by its glow, Nyrah quickened her pace, feeling a sense of anticipation bloom within her. As she approached, the fire's light revealed a group of travelers gathered around the flames, their faces lit by the dancing firelight. They looked up as she entered the circle, their expressions welcoming, as if they had been expecting her all along. The travelers were from different lands, their clothes and accents a tapestry of the world. They made room for her by the fire, offering her the warmth of their shared hearth and the camaraderie of stories told under the open sky. Nyrah settled among them, grateful for the presence of others on this stretch of her journey. Each traveler had a tale to tell, a story of their own quest, their own search for meaning in the tapestry of the world. They spoke of far lands and distant stars, of dreams that guided them and challenges that shaped them. As the night deepened, the stars wheeled overhead, a celestial dance mirrored in the flickering flames. Nyrah listened, her heart attuned to the rhythm of the tales, finding echoes of her own journey in the stories shared around the fire. The veiled prophet's essence seemed to hover in the air, woven into the fabric of their conversation, a guiding presence, felt but unseen, whispering of the truth that lay hidden in the spaces between words. As the fire burned low, casting long shadows upon the ground, Nyrah found herself at peace, cradled by the warmth of shared stories and the promise of new dawns. Her path was not hers alone, but a strand in the great web of life, connected to every soul embarked on their own journey through the night. With the understanding that all paths were intertwined in the mystery of existence, she closed her eyes, content to rest beneath the watchful stars, knowing that the journey and all the wonder it held would continue with the light of morning. As the first light of dawn graced the horizon, the travelers began to stir, their forms silhouetted against the canvas of a sky blushing with the gentle hues of morning. Nyrah awoke to the soft murmurings of her companions as they rose to greet the new day, the cool air filled with the promise of dawn's embrace. The campfire, now a bed of glowing embers, cast a warm halo upon the faces gathered around it. Nyrah felt a sense of kinship with these fellow wanderers, each of them a thread in the greater tapestry of the world, bound together by shared journeys and whispered dreams. Their paths had crossed in this moment, each journey unique yet threaded with the common goal of seeking the enigmas that lay beyond the horizon. With the light of morning illuminating their way, Nyrah and her newfound companions prepared to part ways, the understanding that this shared night was but a chapter in each of their stories. There was warmth in their farewells, promises exchanged in gentle tones, as much a part of the natural ebb and flow of life as the rising sun. Setting out once more, Nyrah felt the path beneath her feet with a new sense of gratitude. The morning air was crisp and alive with possibility, the forest around her steeped in the vibrant energy of life. Each rustle and whisper carried messages of renewal, urging her ever onward, deeper into the heart of her journey. The path led her through a mosaic of light and shadow, the early sun casting playful patterns on the forest floor as it filtered through the canopy above. She moved through this dance of light with a serene acceptance, her spirit alight with the harmony of the world around her. As the forest began to thin, the land opened up to a wide plateau, where gentle breezes played across fields of wildflowers. Here the horizon stretched infinitely, a vast expanse bridging earth and sky in a seamless union. The sky overhead was a pure azure, and the sunlight painted the landscape in colors of gold and green. On this plateau, solitary and silent, stood an ancient monolith, its surface marked with the language of times long past. Nyrah felt its call, a deep resonance that echoed within her, a pull that wove through the threads of her being. Approaching the stone, she ran her fingers over its cool surface, feeling the sacred geometry of carved runes beneath her touch. Each mark was a story, each curve a whisper of history. Here, she sensed, lay part of the tapestry she had been called to unravel, a remnant of the wisdom she sought from the world and from herself. Standing there, sheltered only by the endless sky, Nyrah closed her eyes and let herself be carried by the whisper of the wind, its voice a bridge to the voices of those who had come before. She imagined the tales they might tell, the lessons hidden within their words, echoes of the wisdom of the veiled prophet. In the silence, she felt the presence of the prophet more acutely. His essence lingered like the mist that brushed the fields at dawn. His was a wisdom neither confined by time nor shackled by space, stretching across the vast fabric of existence, interwoven with light and shadow. As the day matured, the sun climbing higher, Nyrah continued her journey across the plateau. The land unfurled before her, wide and welcoming, alive with a quiet energy that thrummed beneath her feet. Each step was a meditation, a contemplation of the mysteries woven into the looms of earth and sky. Her thoughts turned once more to the tales spun around village fires, of the prophet whose presence was said to illuminate the darkness with the light of understanding. She realized that these stories, like her own, were pathways to deeper truths, each narrative a guidepost in the journey of discovery. With the sun warming her shoulders and the wind a gentle guide at her back, Nyrah traveled onward, her heart attuned to the rhythm of the land and the whispers of the prophet carried on the breeze. She knew she was approaching a deeper fold in the story of her soul, each step a brush stroke in the vivid landscape of her journey. The plateau sloped gently downward, guiding her back into the embrace of the forest, where the shade was cool and the air sweet with the scent of pine and earth. Here, the path wound through the underbrush, leading her into the depths of a grove where time seemed to pause, waiting in reverence for those who tread its hallowed ground. Nyrah paused among the trees, allowing the peace of the grove to settle over her. It was a sanctuary of silence and shadow, a place where the boundaries between the physical and the spiritual blurred, offering glimpses of the deeper narrative that lay beneath the surface of everyday life. Within this sacred space, Nyrah felt the presence of the veiled mysteries that had guided her thus far, each one an invitation to dwell within the beauty of the unknown. And as the evening began to draw its gentle curtain across the sky, she resumed her path, knowing with heartfelt certainty that the journey and the insights it would bring were as boundless as the horizon itself. The forest embraced Nyrah with its whispering stillness as the twilight deepened around her. Each step she took resonated with the soft crinkle of fallen leaves, like gentle murmurs under the canopy that thickened to obscure the sky. The day's light receded gently, surrendering the world to the hushed colors of dusk, where everything seemed infused with the ethereal glow of approaching night. In this serene transition, Alara felt her own thoughts soften, slipping into alignment with the rhythm of the natural world surrounding her. Her heart, once restless with questions and longing, now beat calmly, resonating with the quiet assurance of the earth. She moved not with haste, but with purpose, her journey a flowing continuum, unmarked by the rigid borders of time. A path widened before her, leading to an ancient grove where the trees stood tall and regal, their limbs outstretched as if an offering to the heavens. Here the moonlight, pale and luminous, streamed through the branches, casting delicate patterns upon the ground. The light wove through the leaves, creating a tapestry of moving shadows that seemed to tell stories forgotten by daylight. Alara paused in this enchanted glade, feeling the palpable energy of the place. The land seemed alive with the whispers of ages, the collective memory of all who had walked here before. The veil between the seen and unseen was thin, as though with a mere gesture one could step from one realm into another. She knew that this grove was a sanctuary of sorts, a place of reflection and insight, where the heart might find clarity in its most unfettered state. The presence of the veiled prophet hovered on the edges of her awareness, not as a specter but as a guiding light that seeped into her thoughts like the gentle glow of moonbeams. Seated upon a moss-covered stone, Alara let her gaze drift skyward to the stars beginning their vigil overhead. These celestial bodies, ancient and eternal, stirred in her the same sense of wonder she had held as a child, hopeful, curious, a seeker of the unknown. Each twinkle was a heartbeat, a pulse of light in the vast darkness, echoing the limitless possibilities of the universe. The night drew in close, its embrace soothing and profound. Alara closed her eyes, inhaling the forest's earthy scent, the cool breath of the evening brushing softly against her skin. In her mind's eye, the journey unfurled again before her, illuminated by the light of newfound understanding. She saw the veiled prophet, not as an end to her quest, but as a companion through the trials and teachings encountered along her path. In the gentle curves of her journey, she recognized the same moon-silvered veils that adorn the prophet, each layer a piece of herself being revealed, the truth that had always resided within. In the stillness, she heard the rustle of leaves like ancient hymns whispered by the trees, a symphony composed by nature, eternal and ever-changing. And within this music she discerned the voice of the land, offering its wisdom to those ready to listen, as soft and persistent as the heartbeat of the world. The veiled prophet was part of this symphony, his presence woven into the very air, tangible not in form but in the essence of the earth. Here, Alara found the peace of communion with all that was, an alignment not only with the physical realm, but with the intangible threads of spirit that connected her to everything in existence. As the night deepened, Alara opened her eyes to find the grove bathed in moonlight, the trees casting long shadows that danced lightly with her each breath. She knew that every part of her journey had been reflected in this creation, the sunlight and storms, the sorrows and joys, all joining to shape her path and her heart. Rising from her seat, she felt the gentle pull of her journey continue, an unbroken line leading her deeper into the embrace of the mysterious forest. The world was quiet and watching, as if holding a collective breath, ready to reveal its next mystery to the wanderer who moved through it like a whisper. Alara carried with her the understanding she had gleaned, the knowledge that her quest was both inward and outward, a looping dance where each step resonated through the cosmos, guided by the light of the stars and the silent wisdom of the prophet. Each movement forward echoed with possibility, and as she left the grove behind, the forest paths rose up to meet her, welcoming her continual journey into the heart of metaphor and reality. Life shaped by dreams and the echoes of a hidden yet profoundly familiar world. With her spirit buoyed by the night's gentle song, she advanced, her path a narrative of aspiration and discovery, a story unfolding with the patient unveiling of starlight, a promise whispered on every breeze, in every shadow that she was precisely where she was meant to be. The night whispered its secrets as Nyrah continued her journey along the moonlit path, a gentle current guiding her deeper into the forest. The air was cool and crisp, carrying the scent of pine and the faintest hint of wild jasmine on the breeze. Each step she took was deliberate, her pace slow and measured, as though she moved through the pages of an ancient tome, each path a sentence, every clearing a new chapter. The stars above twinkled with the wisdom of the ages, their light a shimmering web that connected the heavens with the earth, binding all things in the silent dance of the cosmos. Nyrah felt this connection in her very being, a thread that linked her to everything and everyone who had come before, and all who would follow in the perpetual cycle of life. Her journey had taken her through valleys and across rivers, over hills and into the heart of the mysterious forest, the forest that held time in a gentle embrace, where yesterday and tomorrow existed alongside the present moment. It was a realm where dreams brushed against reality, leaving a trail of wonder in their wake. As Nyrah walked, she contemplated the weaving of her path with that of the veiled prophet. Though she had not yet seen him in the flesh, his presence was keenly felt in the cadence of her journey, in the wisdom that unfolded like a delicate bloom within her heart. The prophet was a keeper of mysteries, but also a guide to the knowing held within her soul, a mirror reflecting her deepest truths. The path began to rise gently, leading her towards an elevation from where the forest thinned, revealing glimpses of sky that touched the earth in a wide embrace. As she reached a small hilltop, the view unfolded a vast panorama lying under the cloak of night, where the world beneath seemed to hold its breath. The night was calm and clear, the sky a deep sapphire dome adorned with countless stars, each one a distant sun, a point of light in the vastness of the universe. Here, under this celestial tapestry, Nyrah felt the weight of her quest lift, replaced by a profound sense of peace. Everything seemed to fit seamlessly into place, the land, the sky, the echo of her footfalls, all spinning as one in the silent harmony of existence. She stood transfixed by the beauty and simplicity of it all, feeling as if she had stepped beyond the bounds of earthly concerns into a space where only the now mattered. Here was the magic in its truest form, the unfolding of the universe's secrets, not in grand gestures, but in the quiet whisper of night. As she descended from the hilltop, the path led her back into the embrace of the forest, where the trees arched overhead like guardians of old, whispering tales among their leaves. The undergrowth was dappled with moonlight, and the ground beneath her feet was a carpet of soft moss, whispering secrets from the depths of the earth. The path wound like a gentle river through the woods, leading her deeper into the intimacy of night. The air was filled with the chorus of nocturnal creatures, their songs weaving into a symphony that played softly, the notes as timeless as the sky above. Nyrah's mind drifted to the village she called home, to the tales told by flickering fireside stories of the prophet who could see beyond the veils of reality, glimpsing futures yet to be born. She realized that these stories, much like her own, were threads woven into the vast tapestry of human experience, a fabric rich with the colors of imagination and the light of truth. As she moved, the presence of the prophet felt closer, the mystery of his existence a gentle pulse within her, echoing the rhythm of her journey. He was an embodiment of allure and enlightenment, an enigmatic figure, drawing her toward the wisdom of understanding that lay beyond words. The forest opened to a clearing where the grass shimmered silver under the moon's tender touch. In the center, a lone hawthorn tree stood, its branches whispering in the breeze, silhouetted against the starlit sky. Nyrah felt drawn to it, sensing the quiet power that radiated from its heart, a beacon of serenity in the night. Approaching the tree, she felt as though she was stepping into an ancient story, a narrative that spoke of cycles and change, of the endless dance between light and dark, known and unknown. The hawthorn, with its fruits glistening like tiny jewels, stood as a testament to the endurance and grace of life itself. Nyrah sat beneath its boughs, allowing the peace of the clearing to enfold her, each breath she took aligning her more deeply with the heartbeat of the earth. The stars traced their paths across the sky, and within their light she found reflections of her own journey, the veiled prophet's wisdom woven into each constellation. The night wrapped around her like a soft cloak, and she understood that her travels through the forest, her search for the veiled prophet, had been more than a journey. It was an awakening to the mysteries within and around her. She had come to learn that the prophet's veils were like the stars' mysteries, always present, always sought, forever intertwined with the melody of life. In this moment of clarity, Nyrah felt her soul align with the universe's gentle rhythm, carrying her thoughts on a current of possibility that flowed steadily onward, towards the dawn that would come, bringing with it new beginnings under the watchful sky. The midnight hush enveloped the clearing, where Nyrah sat beneath the solemn guardian of the hawthorn tree. The air was alive with the soft hum of the night, a symphony of whispers and distant calls, each sound echoing with the secrets hidden within the arc of darkness. As if in quiet dialogue with the land, her soul opened to the tapestry of sounds that painted the night in vivid hues of silence and song. Stars cascaded across the sky like scattered gems, each one a silent storyteller spinning tales of the cosmos to those willing to listen. Nyrah felt the weight of their light, the subtle pull of their presence, aligning her thoughts with the eternal rhythms that wove through existence. It was here, beneath the celestial canopy, that the boundaries between dreams and reality seemed to blur, inviting her to step deeper into the embrace of the universe's mysteries. As Nyrah contemplated the vastness above, she let her thoughts drift back to the journey that had carried her to this point, a journey not only through the physical world, but through the corridors of her own heart. Each experience, each moment of connection, had been a stepping stone, guiding her toward a truth that resonated like the gentle strumming of harpstrings in her soul. Her pursuit of the veiled prophet had begun as a search for answers, yet as the path had unfurled beneath her feet, it had transformed into a voyage of understanding. The prophet, with his veils of moonlight and shadows, embodied the delicate balance of concealment and revelation, a dance mirrored in the weave of her own story. With each layer she peeled back, she uncovered facets of herself long hidden, both haunting and beautiful. The tree's branches swayed gently in the night breeze, casting shadows that seemed to beckon her deeper into the mystery. She realized her search had never been about finding the prophet in the traditional sense. It was about uncovering the layers of her own being, recognizing the echoes of the universe within her. The journey was not finite, but a continual unfolding, a perpetual embrace of the unknown. The distant call of an owl punctuated the night, its soulful note resonating through the clearing. Nyrah turned her gaze toward the sound, feeling a connection to the creature as it moved gracefully through the shadows. In that moment, she understood that the forest, the stars, and all the beings inhabiting this realm were interconnected threads, weaving a tapestry of life and spirit that spanned beyond what eyes could see. With this realization, a gentle peace settled over her, as if the night itself had reached out to cradle her thoughts. Nyrah drew a deep breath, letting the night air fill her lungs, imagining her breath as a bridge between herself and the eternal dance of life. The understanding that had blossomed within her heart was like a soft flame, illuminating the path ahead with quiet radiance. Rising softly, Nyrah moved away from the hawthorn, her steps guided by the moonlight's touch. The path beckoned her once more, inviting her to continue her journey beneath the starry vault. With each footfall, she embraced the silence, the rustling leaves, and the whispering wind, the music of the world that accompanied her every step, wrapping her in its timeless sound. As the forest closed around her, Nyrah found herself walking down a narrow path, where the canopy of trees overhead formed a natural arch. Moonlight filtered through the branches, creating patterns on the ground that danced with each breath of the breeze. She marveled at the beauty of this silent world, where even the night seemed to carry the scent of secrets. Her thoughts flowed smoothly, merging with the river of her journey, the continuity of experiences and insights shaping a narrative as vast as the world itself. The prophet's presence lingered at the edge of her awareness, a distant melody that guided her heart's song, leading her further into the gentle complexity of existence. The forest parted once more, revealing a tranquil grove where a shallow pond shimmered under the moon's tender gaze. Nyrah approached the water's edge, her reflection meeting her eyes, a vision both familiar and changed. Kneeling beside the pond, she dipped her fingers into the cool water, the sensation grounding her, reminding her of the earth's steadfastness. Watching the ripples spread across the surface, she understood that each movement, each choice, sent out waves into the world, influencing the unseen tapestry of life. Her journey, both inward and outward, was a series of such ripples, moments of reflection and revelation that connected her to everything around her. The night deepened, wrapping her once more in its timeless embrace. Under the watchful stars, Nyrah stayed kneeling by the water, letting its serenity seep into her soul, a balm to the gentle awakenings revealed by her quest. Her hand, still submerged, felt the chill of clarity, a reminder of the path yet to tread and the wonders still waiting to be discovered. As the new day began to hint at its coming, painting whispers of light on the horizon, Nyrah rose, the call to continue echoing in her heart's depths. The journey was ongoing, and the veiled prophet's wisdom was a star to navigate by a guide in the perpetual symphony of dreams and reality, a melody that sang softly within each breath she took. As the faint blush of dawn began to wash the sky with gentle whispers of color, Nyrah felt a soft awakening in her heart, as if it, too, was touched by the first light. The transition from night to day was a ceremony of natural grace, where the stars, after whispering their secrets through the long hours, slowly relinquished their hold on the heavens, yielding to the sun's gentle ascent. Ilara's journey had led her deeper into herself, through shadow and light, along paths where each step was an articulation of longing and discovery. The veiled prophet, though physically absent, had become a constant companion, his presence like a soft melody playing within the recesses of her soul. He had taught her to see beyond the visible, to find the threads that intertwined her life with all creation. Leaving the tranquil pond, its surface now kissed by the first rays of sunlight, Ilara moved with a renewed sense of purpose. The path unfurled before her like a ribbon of woven light and shadow, guiding her through the still slumbering forest. The trees whispered to one another in the morning breeze, their leaves shaking off the night's cool dew, sparkling like myriad jewels in the growing light. As she walked, Ilara's thoughts wandered back through the tapestry of her journey, touching on moments of stillness where clarity had emerged from the depths of unknowing. Each experience was a piece of a larger puzzle, hinting at patterns and connections that transcended the simple boundaries of time and existence. The forest around her gradually thinned, opening to a vista that swept across verdant fields, rioting with the colors of wildflowers. The spectacle was breathtaking, a testament to the vibrant creativity of nature, unfurling its palette under the expansive sky. Each flower, a moment of creation captured and held, seemed to reflect a small spark of the universe itself. Here, amid the beauty of the open land, Ilara paused to inhale deeply the fragrance of earth and blooms. The air was thick with the promise of a new day, filled with what could be a reminder of the endless potential that lay unshaped in each moment. Life, she knew, was an endless dance between choice and chance, each step a delicate negotiation between the known and the mysterious. In the distance, the outline of a small hill caught her attention, its summit crowned by a singular ancient oak. Instinctively, she felt drawn to this place. The hill seemed to rise with a serene dignity, its presence inviting, as if it held whispers of knowledge carried through the wind. Climbing to the summit, the ground firm beneath her feet, Ilara felt the gentle tug of destiny in the pull of the earth, a gravitational acceptance that welcomed her arrival. At the top, the oak tree stood stretched toward the heavens, its branches reaching wide like arms opening to embrace the sky. Under its boughs, she felt the sacredness of the space. It was a threshold between worlds, a space where the veils between seen and unseen shimmered like thin silk. The ground was soft here, worn smooth by the presence of those who had come before her, seeking understanding and communion with the infinite. Ilara sat at the tree's base, her back nestled against its sturdy trunk, feeling the life force pulsing through the bark like a heartbeat. This ancient guardian seemed to watch over her, imparting a silent blessing, anchoring her in the present even as her thoughts soared beyond to the vastness of the horizon. In this moment of stillness, Ilara closed her eyes, letting the symphony of the natural world flow through her. With each breath, she became more deeply connected to the rhythm of life, to the wisdom that arose not from answers, but from the ability to dwell within the questions themselves. She imagined the veiled prophet, his presence an ethereal touch upon her consciousness, guiding her not to a destination, but to the acknowledgement of the journey's true essence. It was an awakening to the power of dreams, to the serene understanding that the journey itself was the revelation. As the sun climbed higher, bathing the world in gold, Nyrah opened her eyes, her vision filled with the soft, inviting glow of morning. The field before her shimmered with life, each flower a testament to resilience and beauty, a reminder that all things were interconnected parts of a greater whole. With the knowledge that her journey was an eternal part of her being, Nyrah rose, infused with a quiet resolve. She knew her path would continue beyond horizontal lines she couldn't yet see, leading her deeper into the embrace of the world and the enigmatic figure that walked forever in shadow and light. Bidding silent farewell to the oak, she took a step forward, knowing that the ground beneath her feet supported not just her body, but the dreams of all those who dared to question, to seek, and to wonder. Her journey was far from over, and as she walked into the light of day, she carried with her the whispers of twilight and dawn, a reminder of the stories written in the stars and echoed in every leaf, every breath, a living testament to the veiled prophet's abiding wisdom. Nyrah walked beneath the endless vault of the sky, with the sun bathing her in warm light, its embrace as comforting as the soothing lullaby of a mother's voice. The path transitioned from wildflowers to gentle meadows and beyond, into the emerald embrace of another forest whose leaves danced in the morning breeze. Her heart was light not because every question had found its answer, but because she had learned to befriend the questions themselves. The journey had become part of her, the discovery unending, and the paths yet to be walked whispering promises of sights unseen and wisdom unfound. The veiled prophet in his elusive presence had been a guiding star, illuminating not the particulars of destiny, but the beauty that existed within the journey itself. Nyrah had come to understand that the prophet's veils were not meant to shroud, but to reveal, layer by layer, the truths residing beneath the surface of the world and within the vast expanse of her being. She came to a gentle river, calm and wide, its surface a mirror reflecting the vast sky above. Kneeling at the water's edge, Nyrah watched as the natural world unfolded in ripples and light, drawing lovely patterns that shimmered with a quiet elegance. The river sang softly, a timeless melody that harmonized perfectly with the gentle rustling of the trees. In this serene symphony she saw reflections of the journey she had traversed, its twists and turns, moments of stillness, and leaps of faith. She realized that each step had not been final but part of an ongoing creation, like the river that flowed endlessly, carrying with it the story of everything it touched. Looking into the depths of the water, she caught a glimpse of her own reflection, a gentle reminder of the unity between dream and reality, self and universe. Here, beneath the brilliant arch of the heavens, she understood that the world and her soul were woven together in endless dance, the rhythm of one echoing in the heart of the other. Nyrah rose, her spirit rejuvenated, her heart full of the knowledge that was both ancient and new. Before her lay the path, not just as a guide through the earth, but as a bridge to deeper reflection and as a connection to the broader web of life. Each step finally wove into the tapestry of the past and the unwritten chapters before her. With one last lingering glance at the river, she turned and continued on, the soft whisper of the trees urging her forward. The path spread wide before her, an open invitation into the embrace of time and space. The journey and quest were endless, every dawn a new beginning, each dusk a gentle closing of that day's journey. And though she walked on alone, she felt no solitude. The veiled prophet walked with her in whispers of the wind, eddies of flowing water, and the reverent sigh of the forest. As she moved deeper into the arms of the land and sky, the world around her whispered stories yet to unfold, danced silently on the breath of existence, and sang softly of dreams that were only the beginning of forever